sitting down and talking about that relationship, I felt all the relationships. That's what I really loved about it. All the relationships felt authentic, and you really felt like lived in. You really felt like that these characters, and you could see the history in the way that they reacted. You know, I have a sister myself, and the brother sister dynamic I love. So I love Vivian and Anthony, you to talk about how you guys fostered, cultivated that, and same with Lana and Anthony. Just in the dynamics of what went into that, what it was leading up to, like having dinner beforehand, or what are those conversations like? How do you build those relationships? And it's a selfish question too, because I'm a director. So I want to, how do you build those relationships to really live and breathe and just feel the texture within that?
Well, I don't know if you guys have a different memory than I do, but I actually think it was more just like us being together. We didn't like make a lot of decisions beforehand. You know what I mean? We didn't like make determinations. We just sort of leaned into it, got to know each other, felt a certain level of trust and comfort, and then just let it fly. And I don't remember honestly, Vivian, like having like major conversations about like how exactly we wanted to approach certain things. We just sort of went for it. And
Yeah.
but I don't know how else to describe it other than that. And same even with Lana, even in that conversation about that we had at the meal, it was as much as anything about our own selves and our own lives. And maybe a little bit about like the IVF stuff and, you know, but as much as anything, like how that resonates for us as people, not necessarily just Ben and Stacy, if that makes any sense. So
Yeah, sure. And now that I've done that, I do sort of start to feel like maybe there's like a sensibility that I have as a director, like, and I would say that maybe that commonality is, I want to create a space for actors that like is what I wanted, you know, as an actor, what I like when I go onto someone else's set. And the truth is what I prefer is like, yeah, there might be specific backstory things that kind of just need to be like, we're on the same page about. But other than that, like, I don't want to talk about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to intellectualize it. Like, I don't want to spend like 45 minutes, like getting into like the weeds on, you know, nonsense backstory stuff. Like, we're here to do it, you know, like I want to jump in and do it. And I would rather spend that 45 minutes, like, rather than like turning this into some sort of like intellectual exercise of like, just shoot stuff, you know, and do as many takes as we can. And like, if an actor has an instinct to like, yeah, I know we've been kind of doing it this way, but like, what if it's like, great, let's just do it. You know, let's just do it. Let's not talk about it. You know, there should be playtime. And I think, but I also think I had maybe a huge advantage because Anthony had done the short and then I'd written the feature with him in mind. So like, I sort of already felt like I knew how he was going to play Ben. So I was like writing to his sensibilities as an actor, I don't know, or you know how I interpreted that, maybe what he would be good at. So I knew he was just going to already do it the way I wanted him to do it, like so I was sort of like, you know, and then it was great because, you know, we got so lucky with Lana as like essentially the perfect kind of counterpoint in this sort of triangle. So I was like, this is going to be great, you know, because Lana was going to bring intelligence, like she was going to bring the vulnerability, she was going to bring the strength, like, you know, she and Anthony were going to be so interesting together. I was like, this is all going to work so well. Really, as soon as we cast them both, I was like, yep, it's all going to work. Like, which is what
it also was. It was felt really easy to step into their shoes and tell this story, and I mean, I have to attribute that to the writing too. And the writing is so good. All you have to do is really show up, relate to the other person, say the words. You know, we have a deep understanding of what the story is. And so therefore you can connect to what the character is experiencing and going through, you know, and the family dynamics, etc. But when the words are there, it makes it so much easier. And these two actors that I got to work with, I mean, they're so relatable, right? I mean, Anthony and I shared some deep stuff. Same with Vivian. I mean, we really got to know each other on an intimate level. And I think it made it so much easier than to step into our character shoes because we had already created a level of intimacy between us as Anthony, Lana, and Vivian. So it's funny. I worked with a director who would put all of his actors into like karate, you know, and I was like, a way of them getting like really comfortable with touching each
Oh,
other.
like actual
and,
karate. They've been
like
in
actual
karate class.
for like
Okay.
for like months. I'm really sorry. It sounds like there's construction going on. They're going to move this trailer, and I'm going to be like, they're moving trailers.
We got cats walking there, and we got the trailer getting pulled away.
I know. I'm really sorry. Is it loud?
No.
Okay, well that's good.
You're good.
But I feel like we did our version of the dojo. We had our own little dojo somewhere on set, where we could. And being in an indie, it's not like you're in your separate trailers all the time. Like you're on set with each other. You're sharing a room. That intimacy is there.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated that. I felt like it just felt like we were living life. Like, and telling these stories, but like, it just felt so natural.
Well, I guess within that too, and I'm curious because the subtext, it's the stuff said also in between. It's not only the inflection of the lines and what's being said, but the pause and the looks. And there's looks and glances that each of your characters are giving each other that are like, oh, you can just tell this is not the first time. Like, I'm thinking of specific moments with all of you that have that. This very, as a brother, there's Anthony. There's some moments where I go, oh yeah, this moment, that's a very brother look. That's a very sibling look that you're giving to the sister. And then there's parts that are actually baked in there, right? If it was in the script or not improvised, but the like the soaking line, fishes. Like that's something I go, oh yeah, that's not only just a couples thing, that's a sibling thing. That's like, oh, you're a this or a that. So I'm just wondering, were those things, did they gestate too from the short to the feature? And then is that just acting? Is it just in the moment doing that, or is it you thinking about it, or are those talked about, not intellectualized, but just going, oh, we should get a beat here?
We never really talked about it. Like, oh, let's get a beat here. No, we never. Which I find actually now I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. No, we really did let what came out in the take. We let it come out, because it also things were different between different takes. Obviously, like which was a lot of the pleasure of the edit, like figuring out what I wanted to include, and what I didn't. So I think we didn't so much cement things. It just sort of, it was whatever came out in the different takes is my recollection.
I do remember a little bit, like in that one scene where like where early on when things get really tense between us. I remember there was certainly we consciously went for different gradations of how intense it got. Like I do remember that we zeroed in on that dynamic, like turn up the volume, not literal loud volume, but turn up the kind of amplification of it in there. There was some of that. Yeah, but there wasn't a lot of it. There wasn't a lot of that kind of thing.
No, but I mean that's fun too. Like playing, you get to do a scene a few different times, and then suddenly you're like, cool, like, let's do one where we're like really going for each other. Like let's be really cruel, and then let's do one where like we're trying to be as nice as possible. It's like, yeah, it's fun to play. I mean, it's just fun when you have really experienced actors who know how to prep. Like they take care of it. They both are smart, intelligent. They've been doing this for so long. They're going to show. Like I remember the first time I got on a call with Lana, she was like on vacation, and then like I think you cut your vacation short to come back and do the film, which was amazing. But you like, I don't know how you were like somewhere in Mexico, I think you like had gotten a script printed out. You had like notes, you were like already in it. Like you were already thinking about Stacy and her life. And, you had these like insights that you wanted to share and like discuss. And, it's like, this is what actors do. Like really good actors who are experienced, like they go away on their own and they create these inner landscapes for themselves. And then they bring it to set. And if it doesn't work, they throw it away. Or like, or they just add to it, or that, so you want to kind of, I don't know, my feeling is you want to have both. You've got to have the prep, but then you've got to have that ability to be flexible and playful and open on set.